Hi everyone, it's late and I figured I'd give you the full effect of what it's like when I'm unwinding or getting ready to potentially relax, to go to bed. This isn't my bedroom, this is my streaming bedroom, my meditation spot. I love this bed because it has it has a remote so that I can lift up a little bit. I've already used my stress away. I did 3 deep breaths in through my palms. Stress away, man. Definitely a must have. I'm going to be doing a little tutorial on a 60-second aroma reset where you just need 3 oils. You need stress away, frankincense, and oh shoot, I'm drawing away. Lavender. That sounds right. Lavender, frankincense, and stress away. So you need lavender, frankincense, and stress away to do the aroma reset. And the way the aroma reset works is that, say you're having a negative thought or a negative energy, or you're under some sort of psychic attack because you've recently been in a fight or argument or altercation or or anything. I mean, just it could be relationship, it could be work, it could be anything. So basically I lost my train of thought, which I tend to do. But moving on, not the point. So the point of this video is just to kind of go over what I do at night, and also I wanted to go over my tarot cards for the evening. I pulled these earlier because, as I told everyone, I'm going to be doing a sacral chakra series this week. So what I did is I meditated on the sacral chakra card, and then I lit a white candle, and I consulted with spirit, and I was able to pull a few cards. The first card that came up was this one here. Reclaim your energy. And I'm going to go ahead and read to you what that means. So that's card number 42. And that was the very first card to come up. So we're talking about sacral energy here. And let me just read you a little bit about sacral energy just to give you a heads up in case you are new to your astrological journey. You're new to the elements and the chakras, and that's perfectly fine. We got you. But let me tell you a little bit about the sacral chakra. Let's start there. So the sacral chakra is the core of creation. It's where feelings, emotional responses, pleasure, sensuality, intimacy, connection, letting go, creativity, sacred sexuality, passion, health, healthy boundaries, and valuing the body. So the card says, you are invited to revel in the present moment and feel deeply into your senses. The sensuality of being alive, the breeze on your skin, the scent of damp earth, the feeling of fitting perfectly into the temple you call your body. This card is about diving into the depths of a moment where all your faculties are available for divine creation. Your entire paint kit is present, as no part is left in the past or caught in the future. All of who you are unites in a point of deep experience. This is the ecstatic moment of conception for a project or new life. Let yourself drop into passion, intimacy, and loving connection with whatever you are birthing into the world and with whomever you have chosen to co-create with. So the theme is your relationship with your body. So rediscover your relationship with your body personally, your sensuality and your sexuality. And that doesn't mean sex. That just means how you feel about your body, how grounded you feel, how confident you feel. Of course, it does translate to your relationships if you are in a sexually active relationship, because if you're with someone that you really love, you can experience a heightened level of intimacy with practice. I know that sounds strange, but it shouldn't be. You know, when you're with a partner for years and years, as we get older, we evolve, we get better, we grow, right? So why wouldn't we evolve and grow in our sexual relationship with the person that we love? So the color wash for the sacral chakra is orange, which if you saw any of my former videos, I did some orange candle magic because, like I was saying, I'm trying to activate the sacral chakra. The reason I'm trying to activate the sacral chakra are for those few keywords I mentioned at the beginning, which are the core of creation. So creating that spark, that initial spark, that orange before the red, that fire, that core, the letting go, the being vulnerable, the passion, the knowing that this is what you want and going for it, and experiencing true pleasure, uncharted, unboundaried pleasure, because you are so connected to your core, because above your sacral chakra you've got your solar plexus, which is where your soul lies. So as long as you are grounded in your root chakra and not overactive in your sacral chakra or your root chakra, then you can create. Unfortunately, there's many people out there that are running around in fear, and what happens there is that you're not going to be able to be creative. You're not going to be able to focus on one thing to completion. So let's move on with my reading. So again, my first card was Reclaim Your Energy. So this is about sacral chakra. Let's see how it resonates with you. Let's hope that it teaches us a little bit about what we need to know. Hopefully it gives us some messages that we need to know. So first card, Reclaim Your Energy. Which is card 42. This might be a little longer of a video. I might timestamp it, I don't know. I'm still so new to what content I want to create and what you guys want to see. So you really need to comment and let me know what you think. Say more of this, less of that. I just kind of want to shape it based on what you guys are into. All right. So reclaim your energy. Recapitulation, owning your power. Where you put your energy is your choice. Overcoming triggers through self-awareness, energy vampires, reclaiming your soul fragments, observing the observer, and shifting victim mentality. Let me take a sip. So that's a little bit root chakra based, right? Talking about fear and owning your power. So let's read on. When we embrace an energy-aware lifestyle, we start to notice when we feel drained or ungrounded. We may feel flat or out of our center after spending time with certain people or places. Our energy is our responsibility, and how we give it away becomes a conscious choice as we step into empowerment. But what about the fragments of self we gave away before we came to this awareness? Yet, it is possible to recover and restore yourself to wholeness. In shamanic practice, recapturing and reuniting with lost fragments of ourselves is recapitulation. Even when we become aware of the patterning that unnecessarily chews up our energy, we may still feel drained by certain people or situations. So these are the psychic attacks. I don't know if I mentioned this before or if I was just thinking it. But I've been feeling it today. So interesting that I got this card. I have a few tricks if you're interested. Cord cutting, freezing, and these are ways that you can discourage a psychic attack. So just side note, you would write their name, whoever it is you think is giving you a psychic attack, on a piece of paper. And if you have the color yellow, whether it be a highlighter or a yellow pencil or pen or whatnot, circle their name 3 times clockwise and say, like, I bind you in light, I bind you in light, I bind you in light, and then put it in the freezer. So depending on who the psychic attack is from, if it's just one person, if it's 3 people, just throw them all in the freezers and put them on ice. Another thing you could do is you could take a cord, anything will do. I mean, a ribbon, fishing line, I mean, anything you've got at the house, it really doesn't matter. Anything to represent that person. And then what you do is you just light a candle, and you focus on that person, and then you take that cord and you cut it with a scissor. And you do that pretty often that day, the day that you're feeling under psychic attack. Maybe a few times an hour, something like that, for a few hours up until maybe the end of the day. It just depends. Trust your intuition. But those are two ways that you could aid a psychic attack. Okay, so we may feel we need to give to the people we most care about in a way that depletes us. We may hold a subconscious sense of obligation to others, or a belief that our own needs cannot be met until we have taken care of everyone else. We may run ourselves ragged, meeting deadlines, keeping customers happy, living up to expectations, or ensuring we have everything our children require from us. Many of us expend energy through drama, self-doubt, self-sabotage, anxiety, and fear. Sometimes we sense we're giving too much. We cannot see exactly how it is happening, or that our effort may be unproductive, even counterproductive. But it doesn't have to be like this. To claim more time and energy for yourself, look at what is and isn't serving you. You may need to make changes in your external environment. I recommend just taking a piece of paper and cutting it down the middle and put, pros and cons, or what were their wording? Isn't serving you, and just start writing them down. More often, the most effective change will be to your perception of self. That's why we always say working on your shadow self, because you really can't get through one day in your life without working on some part or of you that's a shadow. Um, because without shadow, we wouldn't have light. You know what I mean? So we have to come to terms with our shadow self. Not always easy, but it's a constant process. Um, to claim more time and energy for yourself, look at what is and isn't serving you. Consciously choose and align yourself um, with ideas that serve you, and suddenly you'll have a lot more energy for the meaningful, inspiring parts of your life. You'll also have improved presence and more for your loved ones. You might have increased vitality, vigor. You may feel like lighten your load or hippity skippity younger than you really should feel. You know what I mean? Like you'll feel good. Your energy will be high, your frequency be high. However, I do recommend that when you start to delve a little deeper into this frequency, which with the essential oils, I love that. The oils is a really quick way to raise your frequency. I mean, super, super easy. Some other ways are like singing bowls, herbs, fruits and vegetables, um, cuddling and hugs and love and oxytocin and children, music. I'm into 432 hertz music. Google it. 432. That's the number. And something about it, I don't know. It's just, I dig it. Try it out. There's a bunch of other hertzes too that, like, if when you pull up the 432, YouTube will give you like options for other hertzes to listen to, other music. And I really enjoy it, just especially for like meditative purposes or like late at night like this, and I want to kind of just chill out and there's no words to it. It's kind of reminds you of like going for a massage, if you're into that. I personally love going for massages. So anyway, all right, so we're still talking about reclaim your energy. Basically, we're getting root chakra vibes. If you look at the image, she's kind of got like an eyeball on the floor and wings, which is kind of abnormal. It's not like that's normally where it goes. And then she has 6 arms, and her heart is obviously being drawn attention to, so her heart chakra is open, maybe her crown chakra is open, maybe it's showing that all of her chakras are open. I'm not really sure, because you've got these, which kind of remind me of the 7 chakras. Is there 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, there's 6, but then there's the heart, so that could be 7. I don't know. So let's read the divinatory meaning. So it says, let me just mention that this card can also mean that there's some sort of energy depletion, such as not having enough healthy food or sleep. Diet and lifestyle are usually easier to rebalance than our self-beliefs. Illness and environments that affect self-esteem or where our soul does not feel at home or safe are other factors. We may need outside help to reclaim our energy, but having an awareness of what is required is a step closer to being able to fix the problem and can start the healing process. When you are going through tough times, doing something that makes the soul rejoice, even something small, is extremely helpful in boosting your energy levels. this card encourages you to be aware of where your energy is going, okay? If you're not at your optimal energy level, it invites you to consider the core of why this may be. You have the power to own your energy and choose where you direct it. Look at situations that trigger drama and anxiety to reduce energy loss. Detach from environments or people that are not healthy for you. It is up to you to make the shift. Victim mentality is no help. So realize you have the power to transform your life and choose healing and self-empowerment and love for yourself. And it's time to kickstart the upward spiral to abundant energy and soul presence. And interestingly enough, abundance is kind of like a hot topic right now. My oil company, Young Living, when you spend 190 PV, you get the big bottle of abundance, which is a super special oil because it has a super high frequency, which is kind of what I was talking about. It was formulated by the former Gary Young, who is the originator of the company and the genius behind the oils and the blends and some of the partnerships and collaborations and stuff that he's done with, like, say, Dr. Dan Purser and the Ula guys, and also he's done the work with the Savvy Minerals makeup, and he created that beautiful non-toxic line for us women. And then he's got his wonderful wife Mary, who created such a beautiful company for us women who want to be empowered, who want to have our own businesses, who want to bless others with healing, and just really want to transfer energy back and forth and have that beautiful energy exchange. It's just so important for people in my line of work to feel that what they're doing is making a difference. And so that's really why I do this. All right, so let's move on. So the second card I got was this Seer card, and I feel like these kind of go together. So again, we're talking sacral chakra here. And the reason I'm using these cards, these are the Beyond Lemuria cards. And what's interesting about these cards is they're very intuitive. I wonder if I can show you, because I don't know if I have it, but some of the cards actually have symbols on them. Some of the cards actually have very symbolic meanings. I have a couple cards coming up that are pretty interesting because they're like almost like identical, but I pulled them 2 separate times. I'm going to go into that a little further. So basically, the way that I did this spread was my focus was on the sacral chakra. My first card was Reclaim Your Energy, which is telling me to focus on my body, focus on my health, focus on energy vampires, focus on grounding myself, basically. I mean, that's to me what that looks like. And then right above that, I've got this Seer. So it's a beautiful card. I love the stars. I love the dreads. I've been thinking about changing my hair. I've actually had a few readers and astrologers tell me that they see me in multicolored hair, stuff like that. I don't know. Let's see what this one says. So we got Seer, which is card number 46, if that means anything to my numerology friends. 46, which is 10, which is 1. So, new beginnings. Listen to your intuition. Trust the holistic journey. Dreams finding their way into being, the bigger picture, a more aligned outcome than expected, clarity of the greater path. Have you ever headed toward a specific destination, but instead of it being where you ended up, the journey was the catalyst for getting you where you were meant to go? Have you ever felt the universe was conspiring against you? No, not really. And nothing seemed to be working out as plans. I mean, I guess. But then everything came together in a way that was so perfect? Yeah, of course. This card is about the journey not going as planned, but the outcome being better than you thought possible. Oh, what a fun card. When we set our dreams and intentions, internal or external shifts may need to occur before we start to see results. Outdated doors may need to close. Ideas that are holding you back may need to transform. This card depicts intuition as a goddess. She is lifting you out of the clouds of confusion and mind noise and showing you the clear way forward. She is your higher self. What did I say? I feel like this is like it's like almost like this is me up here. Like this is who I want to aspire to be. Starseer. So this is my higher self. She's a goddess. She's clearing my confusion and my mind noise and providing me a way forward. Trust my instincts and have faith in my dream. You are already on your way. What's the divination? Keep believing in yourself. Trust in your dreams enough to let the serendipities unfold. Let go enough to allow space for unexpected opportunities. Even when the route is not as direct as you imagined, listen to your intuition and know you have got this. Okay? All right, we're on the right path, guys. I can't wait to do this sacral chakra series. Like I'm getting all these great ideas, but it's like I'm still waiting for that right message. It's on its way. So let's see what the rest of these cards say. So the next card I pulled was full spectrum. Now, come on. Tell me what you think about this card. I mean, this is fucking, excuse me, French. This is chakra written all over it. Chakra all over it. This is card number 26, which 2 plus 6 is 8. It's called Full Spectrum. It's showing a woman with her chakras all lit up or awakened. She has wings. She actually is even showing, I would say this is like her chakra above her head. I just read about that yesterday. It's like 6 inches above your head. I can't remember the name of it. And then below her, see the star? There's also another chakra below you, like in the ground, that holds you to the ground. So to me, the only thing that's weird is like, look at the skulls all around the bottom there. What could that mean? So let's read Full Spectrum. I'm interested what that's all about. Because then after I pulled Full Spectrum, I had bottom of the card deck. And then this other card kind of came out at the bottom of the card deck. And guess what they were? 2 dragons. And I am in my Gemini North Node, which is my Rahu, which is known as the Dragon Head. And I will be remaining here till January 2022. So I feel like the energy here was like my passing current energy. And this might be my future energy. But let's read about Full Spectrum first, because I'm curious. because that's technically the card of focus. This was the last card I pulled before the bottom of the deck energy, which were the dragons. So 26, which is full spectrum. Creating heaven on earth by honoring the perfection of nature's cycles. I feel like I already do that. I guess it could be better, right? Going beyond the judgment of good and bad, the merging of duality, raw nature, earth wisdom, connecting to ancestors, which is something that keeps coming up. And I just recently got a list of my ancestors, so I need to do this. But however, I got a list of ancestors, and this is a side note, ancestors on my mother's side. This is my mother's father's mother's side. So my mom's grandmother, who she really loved and liked and cared about and enjoyed, and was named after. But I recently have been hearing through my spirit guides and my readers that it's not, I'm not saying that they're not there looking after me, but what is being more shown is actually my father's side of the family. His mother is what I was told, the mother of my father, which makes kind of a lot of sense because she was always very involved in my life while she was alive, and she lived to be 91 years old, and she only passed a few years ago. And I was there with her within the last week of her death, and it was quite amazing. And you know, being that I'm a Sagittarius moon, it's like, as far as death goes, like I had a best friend who used to get so upset with me because I didn't cry and I didn't show my emotions. And what's crazy is I will like tear up, like if I get like emotional about something that I'm passionate about. But it's like sometimes I don't really get emotional about, like, say, death. And I don't know why that is. And I just realized why. I just found out why. And it's not because I don't care about the people, or that I'm not sad, or that I'm, you know, not upset that they're gone. It's more that I am an optimist because of my Sag moon. And I am more thinking in my head like, oh, you know, they're watching over me in heaven, or they're together with their family dancing and having a great time, or you know, they've ascended and now they're a bird, or whatever, you know. I mean, whatever it is, I have a more positive outlook on it. And I think because of that, I don't have that, you know, that where I may like be up on the podium and cry. Now, don't get me wrong, I've cried because I did lose a lot of people in a very short amount of time. And being that I'm just almost 37, it's quite interesting out there that are in the same situation as me. But, you know, it is what it is. So, which is another saying of me. So I'm going to do a two-parter here, and we're going to finish the last three cards. Okay, guys, this is part 2. I just wanted to make sure I'd be able to upload, no problem. So we're continuing on with my reading, which was all about channeling the sacral chakra energy and how I can move forward this week during this very low-key week, Thanksgiving week, where I don't plan on seeing very many people or doing very many things. Yes, I will be making Thanksgiving. We're just going to do a turkey breast, just the 3 of us, but I will be seeing my brother. That's the plan. Other than that, that is all. So I wanted to work on some content specifically on how to waken up the chakras and things of that nature, because I've heard some really amazing stories as to what kind of experiences come about when you have, say, for instance, like a third eye awakening, or or sacral chakra awakening, which then also could be related to kundalini energy, which is a whole nother thing, but directly related to the sacral region, and a very interesting topic that you should Google, which we could always talk about later on down the road. But for now, that's for another day. So full spectrum. All right, so what does heaven on earth look like to you? So this is kind of something that I've been talking about a lot lately. Like, if you had to dream up your most amazing life, and you, had to visualize so that you could replicate it, or maybe you had like a sketch artist and they were really good at art, if say you weren't, and they were able to recreate this for you, like, or if you are a good artist, what would it look like? Or if you're a great writer, describe what, your perfect life would look like. If you're a visual creator, create, picture boards or image boards, logos or emblems, or digital, what did they used to call those boards where it's like, not memory boards, but you get the gist. But so what would heaven on earth look like to you? Do you imagine lush green nature, ancient forests, pristine beaches, crystalline water systems, and all the planet's residents in full health, living in harmony with each other? And yet nature in its purest, rawest form is a balance of life and death, growth and decomposition, the eaters and the eaten. In one way or another, this is the natural flux of life. We already live in Eden, but our efforts to own and segregate bring us further away from this paradigm. Power trips that need for imagined security, fear or avoidance of the shadow, keeps us out of our freedom. The need to preserve and hold on tightly only stunts our growth and leaves us drowning in a sea of plastic. I don't know why I did that tightly. That's actually better than what I did the first time. So the real disease on earth, the barrier to Eden, is in our minds. Life happens, but it's our perception of good and bad and our black and white judgments that prevent us from seeing the grander truth. It isn't black or white. When duality becomes one, we will find Shambhala before us. Perhaps we can find inspiration from nature and the animal kingdom. I mean, we can learn a lot from animals, because animals trust instinctually, and so do children, babies. They live in a different frequency level. They trust, they love, there's no judgment. Why can't we get back there? What can we learn from babies? What can we learn from animals? Does the tiny frog spend its day anxious over its vulnerable future? What happens when we realize fertile compost greets us when we allow ourselves to transmute our pain? When we honor all that came before, our roots are nourished and we grow with more vitality, vibrancy, and life force. We can anchor more light for the collective and in turn seed new growth, as above, so below. What happens when we realize that the keys of our future are in the wisdom of the earth and the dreamings of the indigenous? That the answers are in the geometry of the macro and the microcosm. the nurturing embrace of oneness, in Mama Nature's arms, the downloads from our ancestors. What happens when we find peace within the full spectrum of life? When we have that knowing. Even the notion of separation, this disease, can be symbolized as no more than a blackened leaf on a healthy tree. The ebb and flow of our evolution and de-evolution, really, is a temporary blip in the universe. The message is to be what we can, to ground heaven on earth, but not out of fear. We often try to avoid or run from negative situations, but when the fear steers our decisions and actions, far more devastation can result. And I know that from firsthand experience. I've done it. Self-sabotaged, ran out of fear, ran myself right into the ground. Including even potentially medical issues, which, undetermined, but definitely some sort of, something there. So, when we choose to let our hearts lead us away from stories and outdated patterns, our challenges become the fertile compost that feeds our ascending tendrils as they reach to the heavens and ground its light back on the earth, just like this card. Full spectrum. So the divine meaning is, step out of the black and white mentality of judgment. Go beyond the concepts of good and bad. This card invites you to honor the full spectrum of life and find a new way of perceiving your situation. When we judge something, we create a story around it. These stories often create limitation. Subconsciously, we gather so many of these stories over a lifetime. To heal our disease and crystallize the new way, we need to create a space of no story where miraculous healing can happen. This space empowers us all, us to be all we are, and allows us to know our truth. Embrace the full spectrum of creation in all her colors, and the raw, muddy, earthbound shadow parts of a situation to determine whether they are actually bad or if stories you have held on to are limiting your perspective. Very informative and interesting and super helpful. So these were pretty self-explanatory. We've got the vulnerability card. I get this card all the time. Number 56, 5 and 6 is 11, 1 and 1 is 2, 2, so manifestation. So we gotta be vulnerable and let the universe take over. And then we've got radical expansion, which is let the universe take over. That's my impression, just looking at the cards. So I'm going to read the divinatory meanings for both. Let's start with radical expansion, just because that message is probably more positive. Okay. Living and loving at full capacity. Being unapologetically you. Self-expression, boldness, having a voice, taking up space, expansion, empowerment, owning your true power, being visible in the world, having fun with your magnificence, letting go of judgment, creative exploration, radical ways of being. Okay, so saying get out there. It's time for expansion. You can be as big as your energy wants you to be. Stop and consider anything that is holding you back. This card is the permission slip that allows you to let go of limiting stories and take up all the space you need. Have fun unleashing who you are. As bold and radical as some of your ideas or offerings might be, who is to say that they are not what the world is waiting for? what the world wants. Take note of any judgment of authentic expression towards yourself or others. Be mindful that creativity, exploring unrefined expression, may be what is needed right now. So be mindful that creatively exploring unrefined expression, so stuff that I haven't done before, maybe what's needed. Remember to center yourself in your heart and be the masterpiece your soul always wanted you to be. So don't forget, we've got this card was when came first, center your heart. Then you had the star seer, which was basically live at your highest self. Then we had full spectrum, which was time for expansion, creative expression, centering yourself, and be your own masterpiece. I'm sorry, no, full spectrum was creating heaven on earth by honoring the perfection of nature's cycle, going beyond the judgment of good and bad, the merging of duality, step out of black and white mentality of judgment. Okay, so step out of the judgment, and then the radical expansion was more about judgment. Okay, and then vulnerability. 56, which is 11, which is 2. And radical expansion was 40. So vulnerability, 56. I wanted to go through all the cards, but like to go through all at once would take forever. So I figured I would just do like spreads here or there, because these are really fun cards. Again, it's the Beyond Lemuria deck. It's got about, I don't know, about 60 cards. There's chakra cards. There's elemental cards like earth, water, ether. There's like options for spreads at the beginning. So you could do like all kinds of different spreads. It gives you 3 card options, like many of them. Healing, stuff like that. All right, last but not least, we've got vulnerability. Another dragon card. This one's way bolder. Real strength, holding space, which is something that keeps coming up for me, that I need to hold space, whatever that means. Real strength, holding space, healing past wounds, accepting yourself as you are, sharing from the depths of your heart, raw truths, compassion for others, removing your armor, which is hard for me, you know? Our vulnerability can be one of the greatest gifts we can share. It can also be the hardest. In our society, we are conditioned to put on a facade, to be strong, even in times of difficulty. Paradoxically, being vulnerable is one of the strongest things we can be, and my partner taught me that. It is easy to armor yourselves or ourselves from the harsh truths that may be too painful to bring to the light of day. But, however, this causes greater suffering as buried pain becomes shadows. And eventually, you don't remember. Your body doesn't even remember. And those shadows are now so subconscious and so deeply embedded in you, you don't even know why you're so, can't have a good relationship, or why things keep going wrong, or you're having issues with keeping a job. Who knows? Any possible scenario, depending on your astrology and your personality and your chart and all that stuff. Your birth chart. When we're truly honest with ourselves, in all our facets, we are vulnerable. That honesty is an important step in discovering our shadows and bringing them into the light for healing. Furthermore, when we share our vulnerabilities with others, we allow them to glimpse a deeper part of ourselves. This is fertile soil for trust. It plants the seeds for others to share the places that are most raw and tender for them. Our closest friendships can be formed in this space. The times when we feel too uncomfortable to reach out to others can be the very time we need them the most. However, it is always the hardest to do, reach out. I'm having issues with that right now. Having compassion and awareness of the struggle and disorientation others may be going through is a valuable contribution to the world. Holding space where others can be vulnerable is a key element of healing work. So if anyone has any ideas of how Jamie, can hold space where others can be vulnerable so I can help them heal, I have some ideas, but let me hear yours. Self-love is also connected to our ability to be vulnerable, as it allows us to be true to ourselves, exactly as we are, without judgment. Divinatory meaning. Be vulnerable with yourself and others. It may also be time to step into the role of healer and hold space. Holding space means being fully present, without judgment, in a way that provides a safe and nurturing environment. In this place, guards can be dropped, and a deeper level of awareness and relating can unfold. Kind of reminds me as when I was a substitute teacher. Enabling unconditional love and acceptance allows for vulnerabilities to be expressed, for the core of dis-ease to be discovered, and for the profound healing to take place. I love these cards. Izzy is the author, and it's late, so that's probably gonna be it. But Lemuria, the place that this is based on, was the original paradise. If we were to allow Eden to flourish on Earth once again, we need to return to living harmoniously with nature, just as our ancestors did for thousands of years. We are already aware that we need to live more sustainably, but do we know what that means? What does that look like? Humanity is leaning on finite resources. Not only will those resources run out, but the process of constantly taking them from the earth is creating undeniable problems for our planet. So what do? So this oracle explores and offers keys for this shifting paradigm and the earth, and also touches on the ancient Lemurian, which is like ancient Atlantis, starseed elementals. And these actually are all mini paintings. I really love the dragon. What do you guys feel about this vulnerability card? It's just, to me, not very vulnerable, but maybe they're trying to say, like, I'm kind of thinking like Rahu Ketu. Like, you've got your tail, which is like your vulnerable side, and then you've got your dragon head, which is like your confident side, and how, like, in order for you to be vulnerable, you're actually being really strong. I don't know. That's what I get from it. But that'll be it for tonight. And I hope you enjoyed. And you can find me here certifiably well. And I look forward to you creating more content for you. See ya!